It says the MacMaster just went live, so.
Yep, we should be there now in a moment. 1 second. So just bear with me, my friends.
I will bear with you. Did I talk last? So that means I'm on screen now.
Here we go. I believe we are live. So
I believe that we're live.
Okay, so good evening, my friends, and welcome to another live stream with myself, the MacMaster, and Timothy Dowd over on the island of Tenerife, where we're going to be speaking today about the third wave and also what effect it's going to have on foreign holidays this summer 2021, incidentally and in particularly Tenerife. So I'm going to hand you over first to Tim Dowd to introduce himself.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Tim Dowd from Living with MS in Tenerife, LWMST. A lot of you know me, but for those of you who don't, my wife and I live in Tenerife. We came over in 2014, and we do vlogs Monday, Wednesday, Friday live at 5:55, just about shooting the moon and doing things in Tenerife. We don't go out and do a lot of restaurants and stuff because the wife's not that mobile. But what I do is find out things like the COVID latest, the local news, and of course the weather. So whatever you want to know, if I don't know it, I'll find out.
There we go. You are the man in the know. And I'm first of all going to ask you what the weather's like over there on the island of Tenerife this week.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's been, funnily enough, it's been a bit cloudy the last 3 days. And then yesterday and today is blue skies and wispy clouds, but there's nothing tonight. I mean, I don't know if you can see this. I'm on my iPad here. I'm up in the CC Esmeralda, and the sea's just beyond that place over there, but there's nothing. Zero. So it's about 22 in the shade, and I would say 28 in the sun.
Now then, first things first. What's the island like at the moment? Are we still talking it's quiet? Have we got any holiday makers in there? I believe Daniel said that we've got some holiday makers in from was it France?
Yeah.
So what's it like? Are the bars busy? Is it still quiet?
Well, I live in Cayo, which is Costa Adeje, but it's not the tourist part of Costa Adeje. It's like the residential part of Costa Adeje. And in Cayo, in the bar that I'm in now, and they don't like me showing them, so I can't turn you around. Mainly because they're dodging and diving. Probably, I don't know. Maybe they're the train robbers or something. I don't know. But they don't want to be shown. But yeah, it didn't really change. The only change is that the rules, we can only have now 50% capacity outside as of yesterday. It used to be 75%, so that went down for the next 2 weeks. Special measures, which I'll come to in a minute. And but basically, it hasn't really changed. A lot of the bars that decided to concentrate on tourists have either closed down or have taken a hiatus and decided it's cheaper just to not open and pay staff than wait for tourists to come. So it's a bit of a up and down, actually. I went down to Fania Bay and Torviscus, you know, all those places, Moonlight Bar, Champions, all the way to the Winchester. That's dead, man. That's because they put all their eggs in the basket of the tourists, obviously. And now there's just nobody there. So that is really, really dead, unfortunately. You get into Las Americas, it's sort of 50-50. And Los Cristianos, luckily enough, is okay because there's a mixture there of residents and tourists. The tourists that we do get on the island, a lot of French on the island. I've seen a lot of Russians, and but I haven't seen many Brits, to tell you the truth. In fact, the Brits that are here are ones that have sort of left over and they have to leave by the end of the month, or they're under the radar. So, or the resident, of course. But it's not too bad if you know where to go. Up in Adeje, we went the other night, and that was quite full, but in the town. But right on the tourist areas, that's pretty empty.
The Brits that are there, just that have actually stayed there, obviously now they've got the issue where they only get 90 days. Is that going to be an issue, or are they going to extend it to people?
There is no extension. That has been categorically said, because it's not a 90-day against Brits. It's a 90-day against non-EU states. So they can't change the rules unless you have an agreement. And there's no agreement between Europe and the EU to extend the 90-day rule. So they couldn't do it, basically. So it's not sort of saying you got to get out of the country. They just say you can spend as long as you like here, as long as it doesn't exceed 90 days without you registering. So all to get around it, the 90-day rule, all you got to do is to say, I live more here than I do in Britain. And then you move your centre of life to Spain. You get a TAE or a TIE, a Tarjeta Identification Extranjero, which is your foreigner's card. And then you can stay as long as you like. But that's basically you're resident here. There are some people that have lived here for years that just didn't bother registering, because as a European, you don't become an illegal immigrant. You become what do they call it? An irregular immigrant. And that was basically it was frowned on, but nobody really bothered. Now what's going to happen is they'll stamp your passport when you leave. So if you stay longer than 90 days, there's going to be no sort of Gestapo coming around and kicking your door in. But every time you leave and your passport's stamped, they'll notice that you didn't have a stamp coming in. So they assume that you stayed from the 1st of January, which is when it started. So that means that they'll just flag you as an overstay, which is not a problem. But next time you want to come into Europe, any of the Schengen countries, your flag will flag up on the immigration thing and they won't let you in. So it's in your own best interest to either get legal if you're staying here or leave if you're not.
Now, obviously, we've got the vaccines coming in. What's the vaccination process like over in Tenerife at the moment? Obviously, over here
it's very slow.
Pretty good.
Okay, it's very slow here because we don't get we get it doled out from the European Union. So they decided to buy it all or get it all in one go and then dole it out. And it's not been very good, to tell you the truth. The European Union sort of dropped the ball there. They didn't invest, I don't think, in any of the things like Britain did. So Britain invested in a lot of the places developing the stuff. So they get first dibs on the product, obviously. So Britain, I think, has got more than they need, and Europe doesn't. So there's also rules, I think, in Britain that you have to supply your own people first before other people. And in Europe, a lot of states haven't done that. So what happens is Europe doles it out to the state, and then the state decides what to do with it. Here in Spain, they've decided that the vaccination, we're using 3. We're using the Pfizer, the Moderna, and the AstraZeneca, which we'll come to in a minute. But those 3 are the ones we're using. And they've defined 9 groups. The 9 groups basically are old people's homes and people who work there, then first-line workers, then people who are at home, but I haven't got it in my head. But group 4 was people who have grade 3 disabilities, and that was Christina. So she got her first jab last week, and she's got an appointment in 2 weeks to get the second one. Group 5 is people of older age, which unfortunately I'm in. So that's the 80 to under 80s, under 70s, and under 90s, under 80s, and under 70s, up to 60 then. So basically, it's I should get mine in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But it's been pretty slow. But there's 9 groups, and this is group 5 I'm in. So there's another 4 groups after that. So I don't think it'll be finished until, I think Sanchez said total vaccination would come by the end of the year, and the 70% would come around about September. So we should be a safe place to be by September, whether you're vaccinated or not. But if you are vaccinated, then obviously it's better, because the more people who are vaccinated around you, the better it's going to be. So it's going to plan, but the plan is slower than Britain. That's what I want to say.
Vaccination passports. What's your thoughts on that? Is that going to go ahead? Is that something that's going to be put into force, especially on the island of Tenerife?
I don't think, I mean, basically the word vaccination passport has been bandied around, and I don't think anybody's actually said that who's on the decision-making process. What they're saying is in Spain is there is a way that you can show your level of health protection. In Germany, they have vaccination passports anyway. They've had them for years. So every time you have a vaccination, you get it stamped in your little book. But Germans are very good for that, you know, for keeping tabs on things. So it's called an Impfpass in German. So I think a lot of the other countries are actually going to do that, but it's not a passport. It's basically just a way to regulate or to identify people who are at a certain level of health. What they do with the information and where the information is going to be stored and who's going to get access to it, that's a real can of worms. So even if they decide they're going to do it in Europe, there's going to be months or even years before I think anything will happen, unless they obviously have a knee-jerk reaction and start like Hungary or something like that, or Austria. They sort of saying, right, nobody comes in without this, then something's gonna push. But I don't see the point in it myself. I think that international travel is a thing that isn't going to be for everybody. And yeah, I don't want to get into that too much because I don't want to tell the future, but it's going to be different. It's going to be different.
Now, we've got on here, let me just have a look. I got some, I sent you a link over, which I did a little video on earlier on, that Dr. John Campbell said that infections are winning in Europe. Spain's actually down though, isn't it? Or is it, what was the figures on that? Are they,
Spain, infection rate for Spain is down 33%. But at the moment, if you look at the latest figures, the 7-day rolling average is actually on the way up in Tenerife. Now, funnily enough, the active infection rate is down, but the infection rolling average of new people getting infected is going up. So we're expecting another wave. I think the difference is that they calculate the active by people who've got it and people who've been cured and people who've died. So they take those people away and just say how many people are being treated. And that's the active case. And that is going down. In fact, I got the figures here for today. They publish them, it goes to 2 p.m., but they publish them around about 4. So on the 16th, the active Canary Islands, for all the islands, active cases at the moment is 4,276. Tenerife has got 2,296, where 1,500 is in La Laguna and 500 is in Santa Cruz and 500 is La Laguna. So there's not a lot left. So Arona's got 86, Adeque's got 111, Granadilla de Abona 78, and the rest are under 50. So all these southern states are under 50, apart from those 3 that I just mentioned. So it's not too bad at the moment, and especially here, you're basically not going to meet anybody who's got it within. In a decade we have, I think it's 57,000 legal residents, which is probably going to be about 65 to 70,000 with everybody, and 111 people who've got the virus. In that amount is basically you're never going to meet anybody.
well, so do you think, I mean, the big question is, everyone's looking at May the 17th, which is when Boris has penciled us in for the round out of lockdown. Is this going to happen? We're all looking forward to travelling over to Tenerife. We've all got May in mind, May, June. Some people have got July. Are we jumping the gun here? I did a video on that. Are we jumping the gun? Are we actually going to get over?
I don't know, and I can't really put my finger on it. All I can say is that the people who are in the know are gearing up for tourists to start arriving again in May. In March. So the end of this month, March, April, May. So after about Easter, in fact, we have 175 seats booked of flights coming in, which is 33% of what it was in 2019. So the tourist office is expecting tourists for Easter. So that's end of March, beginning of April. Obviously, tourists come from all over the world to Tenerife, so that means that it's in total. There's I think it's 213,000 seats, and so whether it includes UK or not depends on the UK ban. Now, it isn't the UK ban; it's the ban for countries that are high risk with mutations. So there's Brazil and South Africa and a couple of others that are banned from coming. So that's the one you got to look at, and that's looked at every 2 weeks. So next Tuesday is the next date to see whether we extend the ban, and it's always a week later that it comes into force. So up to now, I think it's the 28th of March you're banned till, and then we decide next Tuesday whether it's going to be another 2 weeks or not. And it's totally based on this infection rate of the, well, they call it the British strain, but it's the one where Britain identified it in Kent. But I think the same strain was also South Africa and Brazil. So it's like calling it the Spanish flu. You know, it's the people that saw it first get the name. It's like the Chinese thing that Donald Trump always says, because it's, you know. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think that tourism will start slowly, and it'll be a slow, gradual rise. June, July, August, September. Then September, mass tourism should start again, unless, of course, there is this third wave that people are talking about, or even the fourth wave in Germany, and then it's all for the birds, you know. But I think that. Go ahead.
Carry on a moment.
No, I think that the UK has it in their own hands. So if they can get their figures down and the infection rate down to a particular level, then do a negotiation either directly with Spain or with the EU, then I think that they should be opening up in May, June, because really we need you guys. I mean, Tenerife's the tourism area is nearly a quarter of GDP, you know, and that's including all the people that deliver to it and everything. So, I mean, we do have an industry that we can live on, you know, the farming industry and food industry, and also a couple of other industries. But the tourist industry is a quarter of GDP, which is a massive chunk. And of that quarter, Britain is over half. So if we don't have the Brits coming over, then the tourist industry is losing over 50% of its income.
And now the Brits are banned at the moment until the end of March. Is that right?
It's nearly the end of March, but we decide next Tuesday whether it's extended or not.
What I don't understand is they're going to ban. Do they not speak to each other? Because we're banned until the end of March. If they lift that ban at the end of March, we still can't travel until May the 17th anyway.
They're not going to lift it.
They won't.
The only reason that we only do it for 2 weeks is because it's an emergency measure. And there is a rule in Spain that you can't have an emergency measure that's forever. Otherwise, you get dictators. So therefore, the emergency measure has to be reviewed every 2 weeks. That's the only reason it's reviewed. But I think that they are coordinating and they will be talking to each other. In fact, Yezia Castillo, which is the tourist minister for the whole of the Canary Islands, is constantly in contact with Germany, with the Netherlands, the Nordic countries and the UK, organising how to get this thing back on track, because that's her job. And so I think they are talking. It's just that it's a problem with the politics that you can only have a special measure in for a fortnight.
Okay. So you're thinking we will be allowed back in hopefully May or June?
I think as soon as UK lifts the international ban, Spain will be there with either a welcoming hand, or the EU will react. So one of the two will react. As soon as you're allowed out of the country, I'm sure that we'll be accepting you in. And obviously, we still have in place that you need a PCR test. We have it in place that you need a test if you go to a hotel, and we have the insurance for COVID, so you're all covered. The vaccination might or may not play a role, but we have those things already in place for when you are able to come, to make sure that you have a safe holiday. As long as you don't go out in a pool party and rubbing shoulders with people you don't know, you're going to be fine. So
the thing is, though, if you've had the vaccination, this is what I don't understand. If you've had the vaccination, why do you need a PCR test?
Okay, I'm not a medical person, and all that I've read is that if you vaccinate against something, that means that your body is able to fight the virus. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get the virus. And if your body is fighting the virus, then it's throwing it out, and that means you may still be contagious, even though you're not ill. So I think the difference between vaccination and a PCR test of knowing whether you have active virus in your system, I think those are two different horses. So what we're saying is we're allowing people in that can prove that they don't have any active virus in the system, whether they're vaccinated or not. Being vaccinated just means that if you catch it while you're here, you're not going to get as ill as somebody who hasn't been vaccinated. Right. So vaccination isn't a golden bullet or a silver bullet.
The thing is, how long is this going to carry on for? How long are you going to have to get PCR tests every time we go overseas? There's got to be a point where surely when we're all vaccinated, you don't need it anymore.
Well, as soon as the billionaires have made enough money and Bill Gates has got a chip in us all, I think it'll stop it.
Yeah? We won't go into that one. So do you see a phase, do you see a third wave hitting Spain and the Canaries?
I think that Spain will definitely get the next wave. I think that Spain is a typical country like Italy, like Britain, for instance, or like Germany. They're expecting the fourth wave in summer, where the economics comes ahead of safety, and they open things up like the schools, and then they say, oh, people can go and drink, and then, okay, we can have a party. And then all of a sudden they go, oh, we're getting infected again. I wonder why. And then they'll close it down. So these are the waves. Yeah, we knew on the first wave, we got locked down a year ago yesterday. Within 3 months, there was nobody in Tenerife. There was down to tens of people that had the infection. So then we started letting people in and saying we got to be safe and all that, and it went up again. So we know what causes it. It's people meeting and transferring virus from one to the other. That's what causes it. And as long as you think of the economic situation instead of the health situation, then there's going to be waves. So it depends on the country, really, whether they decide that the kids go back to school, or whether they decide that you can go out, or whether you don't have to wear a mask or whatever. So yeah, go ahead.
Has the hotels over there, have they started reopening? Have there any plans for reopening, or is it still looking deserted, like a desert town, or what?
I don't think any of the hotels that have closed have opened yet because there's not enough people here, but they've all been refurbishing. They're all on this new sort of like sustainable tourism kick. There's 3 new projects that have started, sort of digital tourism, sustainable tourism, and green tourism. And that is coming to the fore now. So people are sort of saying, when we do offer a holiday, we're going to offer a great quality. We're going to offer sustainability. We're going to offer green, and we're going to offer digital ways of enjoying yourself, or digital ways of finding out how to enjoy yourself. So if you look into those, it's quite interesting what they're doing. I don't think that the $1 a pint thing is going to go away soon. I have been saying that it should go away. Not should, but it's probably not going to be there, but I've been proved wrong. I think there is always going to be a spot for cheap and cheerful. And the only thing that I'm thinking of is that the airlines will not be able to sustain low prices for a long time. The airlines are being subsidized by Spain for the next 6 months. So if you want to come here and you get a cheap flight, it's because Spain's paying for you to come, right? So, but I think that's not sustainable over the long term. So flights and holidays will probably get more expensive as the time goes on.
Blimey. Do you see, is there many bars and restaurants over there gone out of business, or are they just closed down for the time being temporarily?
I know personally 2 owners. One of them owns the Winchester, and he decided to close until things got better. So he's keeping the business, but he's laid off his staff. His staff are being looked after on furlough, and he's living on his savings probably, because a lot of these people are not getting the help they need. Although it has been intimated that there is a package that's coming in, but whether it's actually getting down to the people who need it, we don't know yet. If you look at the bars that were sort of running, ducking and diving and not declaring all their earnings, then their furlough type recompense is commensurate for what they said they were actually earning, which unfortunately for people who were hiding it is nothing. So they say, oh, you weren't making anything anyway, so you're not getting anything. So it's like swings and roundabouts there. So there are a few that have gone out of business. None of the people that I know. And in fact, one mate of mine who took a bar over 2 days before lockdown has actually sold it now, and somebody else has taken over. So that's there is also a market for exchange now. People are betting on that it's going to get better. The other thing could be that they're doing money laundering, but that's just a guess.
We've got over 1,000 people watching, by the way. Do me a
You're
favor.
joking.
No, hit the thumbs up. That made you nervous now. Hit the thumbs up, guys. It doesn't cost you a penny. Just hit the thumbs up. Also, if you have just joined us, we are live with Timothy Dowd from Living with MS in Tenerife. I'm going to put his link in the description below after this transmission, but it's youtube.com/LWMST. That's L, Lima, Whiskey, Mike, Sierra, Tango. There we go. I've done it. And just hit the thumbs up for us, guys. So you think the island's going to be back busy once more? We are not. There isn't going to be all-inclusive holidays, though. I have heard of that, which I don't disagree with anyway. I think spread the love a little bit. What have you heard on that?
Actually, I've tried to get hold of some people that I know in the hotel trade and button them down to what type of thing they're going to offer, and they're all giving me the standard blah of sustainable, green, and digital. So they're all on this kick of the new thing. I think they're getting also some sort of help with it, so they have to say that. All inclusive, I don't think it's going to go away. I think that the way that all inclusive works will change. So where it used to be that you go and pick up a sandwich from a bar or pour your own drink or do that stuff, I think that might change. But I don't think that paying a full whack and getting full board, I don't think that'll change. Because basically, all inclusive is just something. It's like the old full board, breakfast, dinner, and tea, and plus you get a few snacks and drinks thrown in. So I don't think that'll change.
Do you think the prices of things on the island of Tenerife will increase? Obviously, they've got to make their money back now. Are they going to be jumping on the bandwagon or not?
I'm not sure. There is a lot of European money floating around to subsidise a lot of stuff. So I think they will try and keep it in the way that it's been. But obviously, holidays are a commodity. And with all commodities, it's supply and demand. So if there is a lot of demand for green, sustainable, digital holidays, then obviously the price will go up. If there's not a lot of demand, then the price will go down. But as a sort of a percentage on year, I don't think that there's going to be much change organically. I think it's going to be based on supply and demand.
What about masks? Last time I was there, I had to wear a mask walking around in the heat. It was a bit annoying. Is that still implemented? And is that
yes, it is.
It
hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. You're only allowed to take your mask off if you are consuming, which I'm not because my glass is empty. And there's no waiter here. You got to go and get it yourself.
Is that something they'll lift?
That'll be the last thing to go, I think. I think that'll be the last thing to go. So they'll do things like increase the number of people that you can meet with. At the moment, the restrictions are quite strict. All the bars and everything have to close before 10. So at 10 o'clock, you can't have people in there. So last order is basically 9:30, 10 o'clock, everybody's out. They're not allowed to be on the streets from 10 till 6. Unless you're walking immediately home from where you were. So if you're caught and you're not on your straight line home from where you were, then there's a problem. On the tables, there is a maximum of 4 people on each table. there has to be 2 meters between each chair back. So it's not 2 meters between the center of the tables. It's 2 meters between the back of my chair and the next chair. So only 50% capacity outside on the terrace and 50% capacity inside. You are allowed to sit on the bar, but only 2 people maximum within the next 2 meters. So there has to be 2 seats, then 2 meters gap, and then another 2 seats. And this has to be actually demarked with tape so that you know exactly where. So at the moment, there's restrictions are in place. As I said before, it feels looser here, though. I do see people walking around with the mask under the chin. And I realized what it is, actually. I realized that if you've got your mask under your chin, it's because if you take it off, you go like this.
Surely, though, if this situation with the masks and the social distancing and the curfews, this is going to have implications on whether people book a summer holiday over to Tenerife.
Well, the thing is, if you live in a country that is responsible and have their own restrictions, then there's no difference. So if your country insists that you wear a mask outside, if your country insists that you have a curfew, if your country insists that you do certain things, then coming here is not going to be a difference. It's only if you come from a country that has less restrictions, then you feel more restricted here. And the restrictions are here for a reason, obviously. And what I say is, if you don't want to abide by the restrictions, then stay home. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's not that we don't want you to come. It's your choice. It's like going to an Arabian country and not wanting to cover your head, or going to, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. But you're saying that Brits are the biggest income on the island of Tenerife, and yet Brits don't have to walk around over here with a mask on, and we'd have a curfew either. So would that not take away from people booking holidays? Maybe get this going in the comments down below if you watch. Surely that would have some implications on whether people will book a holiday. Because it'd be like why would you go on holiday other than for the sunshine if you're going to be restricted in what time you've got to come in, and also wearing a mask everywhere?
You're right. So people who respect our rules are welcome. And we're expecting about 33% of the total amount of people this early. So those people are welcome. And those people that don't want to respect the rules, well, it's not that they're not welcome. They're also welcome. It's just we ask you to respect the rules. So make your own decision. So I think that the slow opening up of tourism between now and the end of the year we'll have enough people who want to respect the rules to come. So I don't think that's going to make a difference in the amount of people coming. Just you decide whether you want to come and respect the rules. If you decide you want to come and not respect the rules, then I respectfully suggest you stay at home.
I feel like Piers Morgan giving you a grilling or something. Guys, we've only got 300 odd thumbs up apparently. Hit the thumbs up. Come on, smash that thumbs up. Doesn't cost you a penny. Tim's given us some great information over there as well. I got my date through as well, or text. How are you getting that over there, by the way? I've got a text through today to say book your vaccine. What are they doing for you?
They call us up.
They give you a call.
Yeah, basically what we have a blue card, which is like the NHS card. So it just proves that you're part of the system. Our system is actually payment based. So if you pay into the system, you can use it. And if you don't pay, have you frozen? Have I frozen?
No, you're not frozen.
Okay.
Somebody's saying turn the telly off. I haven't got the telly on. It's not the telly that's making the noise, it's the security cameras. Right, so we've got...
it's the people in the bar that's making the noise.
It's the people in the bar. There we go. That's it. It's not me. It's people in the bar. So basically, I mean, who in the comments here? I just think it's going to have implications. Do you think they'll lift any restrictions?
No, I don't think so. I think that it's totally based on medical and not on economical. The government is socialist, so they they go towards the humanistic part of it, apart from the economic part of it. So I don't think they'll lift the restrictions. And I think there's enough people that respects the rules of a foreign country and know how to act in a foreign country that we can slowly build up, because we are not able, in fact, to have 100% capacity in May. We're not able to do that. We can only gear up between now and the end of the year. And September, the mass tourism will start. So I don't think we're going to get to 100% in September. So those people who want to come are the ones that will accept the rules. And those who don't, it's fine, come later.
I'm ready, look. I've got my Tenerife Let's Go Departures 2021 t-shirt on. So I'm coming.
That's right, yeah. I've got some Tipex.
What's but 2022? You can get these in the merch store down below, by the way. A little bit of shameless promotion there. So question number 10 before we let you go back to Christine. When do you think I will be back over on the island of Tenerife?
I think you'll be back as soon as Boris Johnson opens the starting gate, and it'll be like with your little hat cam. You'll be over here like a shot. So as soon as you're allowed, I think that you'll be able to come over. So I don't think that Britain is going to open the floodgates and that Spain will say no. I don't think that. I think that there will be a coordination of the date. And as soon as Boris says you can go to Spain, Spain will let you in.
Yeah. Excellent. Right. Well, Tim, thank you very much. Everybody who's joined us, thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you want one of these. They're in the merch store. I'll put it in the link if you're watching on Catch Up. And subscribe to Tim as well. If you're watching on Catch Up, I'm going to put Tim's link in the description below. Some excellent information there, Tim. I hope to see you on May the 17th. And
I'll even pick you up from the airport.
You got it. I shall hold you to that one. And I'd like to thank the moderators, thank everybody for joining us tonight. I haven't answered all your questions. I wanted to try and keep it informative for you guys rather than having a bit of a conversation. I wanted to try and get as much information out of Tim as we can. Tim's also live on Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5:55 on his channel. He's got COVID updates and information coming your way from Tenerife. He lives on the island. Head over there, subscribe to his channel. Tim, thank you very much. And stay safe, stay positive, and I shall speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, guys.